The fact is, before we die, we'll never know all the answers. And then, what about the Big Bang? What happened? What are the mysteries of time and space? There's a strange comfort in admitting that mankind has very few answers to the ultimate questions of existence. We pretend otherwise, of course. We build these grand observatories that peer billions of years into the past. We construct particle accelerators that smash matter into the smallest components. We write philosophy and religious texts, and we use science. We do hypotheses. We postulate theories. We map the human genome. We send machines beyond to the outer planets. We are a species determined to understand itself and the universe that gave birth to it. But it just seems that we're so far away from knowing so many of the fundamental questions. Yet after all our achievements, two mysteries remain untouched by certainty. What is life and what is consciousness? Everything else seems to orbit these questions. Science can tell us much about the mechanics of life. We understand cells, DNA, evolution, and chemistry that allows organisms to survive and reproduce. And we know that every living creature on Earth shares a common ancestry stretching back billions of years. We have uncovered astonishing details about the biological machinery that animates plants and animals and human beings. But describing life is not the same as explaining its origin. We simply don't know a lot of things. At some point of Earth's distant past, non-living matter became living matter. Now, how did that just change? The universe somehow crossed a threshold. Molecules that had no awareness, intention, or purpose organized themselves into systems capable of replication, adaptation, and eventually, with human beings, consciousness. So how the heck did it go from non-life to life? And you can see where the religious standpoint is, well, that's just impossible. You can't have just a bunch of dust and it turns into life, right? So, religion explains that there has to be somebody causing it, and science says we're not going to assume anything. We assume that it happened somehow. But science would not say what the answer is. So at some point in Earth's distant past, non-living matter became living matter. It's fascinating. That's one of the questions we will probably not know how that happened. There are many elegant theories and compelling theories, but not any clear answers. Somewhere between chemistry and biology lies a bridge humanity has not yet crossed. Perhaps we are just not smart enough to understand it. The mystery deepens when we consider consciousness, the problem of consciousness. A human brain contains approximately 86 billion neurons. Each neuron communicates through electrical and chemical signals, and scientists have become increasingly skilled at mapping these interactions. They can identify regions associated with memory and language and emotion and perception, yet a profound question remains. Why should any of this activity produce experience? A computer processes information, so does a thermostat, so does a smartphone. Yet we do not assume these devices possess subjective awareness. They just calculate, but they do not feel. You and I do feel. So when in the chain of evolution does consciousness suddenly appear? Does it appear in humans? Does it appear in apes? Does it appear in an insect? You probably couldn't argue that an insect has consciousness. So those are still the huge questions. What is consciousness and what is life itself? And there are some things to ponder And the fact is, we probably won't ever know the answer. And as Rilke said, let's live into the questions.